dug holes, that situation where our traction was an issue. It's enough of an issue that even when we added more traction, we're still stuck. So now we have to figure out how we're going to utilize the traction available to us. Locking our differential. In our Sasquatch Bronco, we have front and rear locking differentials, all right? So now's the time to decide when we need to use which one. Something that is also specific to the Bronco that is super freaking cool is that they are not sequential, all right? You don't have to start with one and then add on the other. You can start with whichever one you want, all right? In other vehicle manufacturers, you almost always have to start with the rear and then add the front. There are scenarios in off-roading where you will need to use just the front or the front first, but there is a reason that that sequence has become normal, which is because the rear is beefier and a little bit stronger, so a lot of times we tend to start with that rear. Especially thinking about the scenario, there are so many different things that tie into that decision, but typically you want to think about your turning ability as well as where the weight of the vehicle is. So if you're stuck in an uphill and all that weight is loaded towards the back, that's going to help push you up, right, rather than a pull. Locking a differential, like we talked about, is the opposite of the open differential, which is easy to turn. Locking differential makes it a bit harder to turn, all right? So that can also come into play. If we were not in a straight track going along like this and there was a sharp turn that we were making and we also had a traction problem where we needed locking differentials, we might have to be really careful with that choice. But for now, we're gonna start with that rear and see if we can help ourselves out. So that's gonna be your third button in this Bronco. Everyone's Broncos at home are going to have a different configuration of that hero bar panel. They're pretty much usually always the same in any automatic Bronco, which everyone is automatic today. From the passenger side over is always going to be the same. All right, you're just going to release the brake. All right, nice. And that torque already wants to crawl us out. Something I would like to add that Matt did extremely well there was that he did not floor it. This is very, very loose terrain. If you are walking along, this is nice and easy. But if you hit that gas too hard, just like your feet do, this happens. You spin out, okay? That's gonna dig holes like our tires, but you're also just gonna keep spinning, over torquing your wheels. You're not going anywhere, all right? So sometimes, in addition with all those buttons we just used, we also just need to take a deep breath and go slowly in control, finding that nice steady point on our throttle if we need to use it. That's not over torquing our wheels, but also giving enough power to help us through.